Welcome back, brothers, to our Bible study on the first letter of John. Today we will look at chapter 1, verse 9. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. In this verse, John notes that those who confess their sins can be assured that God will forgive them and remove the impact of their sin on their fellowship with him. Although we believers are forgiven at the point of salvation, we are constantly at war with our sinful nature and will inevitably fall short. Try to minimize or lessen the severity or find excuses or rebel against the Lord and his truth. Although Christ's death covers all sin, confessing does something in us, keeping us humble, reminds us of the price Jesus paid, or need to keep growing in the faith and drawing us closer to God. As sin damages our relationship with God, it is incumbent that we, as the offending party, should humble ourselves and sincerely confess our missteps and turn back to God and away from our sins. This is analogous to the way we heal a relationship with a dear friend by apologizing, except God always accepts our heartfelt confession and offers us his forgiveness and cleansing. Like two friends who successfully overcome a major disagreement and learn more about each other's genuine love for one another, our relationship with God can be strengthened as we learn to lean on him in the face of adversity, temptation, and dealing with our sinful nature. Brothers, all believers wrestle with sin, fighting a tendency to dabble in wicked pleasures of the old self, finding bad habits difficult to break, and falling into temptation. Proverbs 26:11 captures it well. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool or a sinner repeats his foolishness or wickedness. But this verse reminds us to get up, dust off, and get going in our faith as we genuinely confess our sins to God, seek his forgiveness and restoration into righteousness, and keep learning about him and drawing on him for wisdom, discernment, and strength. When past sins come flooding back to us in our thoughts, sins that we have already confessed and fully addressed, this verse will help us appropriately recognize that our enemy is alive and ever searching to destroy our momentum and disillusion us in our faith. In such times, start a conversation with God in prayer, thanking him for his forgiveness. Let's never forget that although God forgives, that does not necessarily absolve us of the consequences of our sin. Where we can, we ought to apologize and make amends to those we hurt, and where that is impossible, leave the matter in the Lord's hands altogether, praying for all those who were affected. May God bless this study as we analyze how it impacts each and every one of our lives.